Alright guys, in the last video we added our nav bar for our login UI, also the main header. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add our action buttons. So let's go right below the header that we created and let's put a comment here. We'll say actions. So we're going to have a section. I'm going to give it an ID of actions and we're going to have a class. We're going to have some classes here. One is going to be py dash, let's do py-4 for padding on the top and bottom. Also margin bottom 4. We want to push it down a little bit. And then we're going to do a BG light because we want it to have a gray background. Alright, so you can see we have the gray background here. Now what we're going to do is inside the section we'll have a container. And of course we'll have our row. And then we want to have three column divs. So we're going to do call -md-3 and I want 3 of them. So in each one of these we're going to have a link formatted as a button that's going to open up a modal. So let's put an A tag in here. I'm going to give this one a class of btn, also btn-primary, and also btn-block. Alright, and then the href is actually going to go to nothing. It's going to be just a hash. For the text, we're going to say add post, and we're going to put an icon next to it. Lots of icons in this project. So this is going to be FA-plus. Okay, now this is going to open up a modal, so it's going to have a data toggle, which is going to be set to modal. And then it also needs a target, needs to know what modal to open, so data target, and we're going to call this hash add post modal. Alright, and then what I'm going to do is copy that whole A tag, put it in the next column, and we're just going to change this one to add category. Same plus icon, but we're going to change the target here to go to add category modal, and we're also going to change the color of the button to let's say green, so we're going to do success. Okay, and then finally the last one we'll paste in, and this is going to be add user, which is going to call add user modal, and the color is going to be button warning. So we'll save, and now we have our 3 buttons. Alright, so let's start to create our modals. First one we want is the add post. That's going to be the biggest one. That's going to have the most content. So let's go down to the bottom. Now the modals are always going to be on the bottom. Even when we start to build the rest of the template, we want to put it above the modals. So this is going to be the post modal. Okay, so it's going to be a div with the class of modal. Also the class of fade. And let's see, we're going to give it an ID of add post modal, which should match this right here. Alright, and then in here we want all the different components of a modal, such as the modal dialog div. So this will be modal dash dialog. I'm also going to make it large, so I'm going to also give it a class of modal dash LG. Okay, then we need our content. Modal content, and let's see, we're gonna have to have our modal header, and I'm also gonna give this modal header a class of BG primary, gonna make it blue, and then also text white, and that should actually be inside the quotes. Alright, and then inside the header we'll have an H5 with the class of modal title. And we'll just say add post, and let's see, right after the H5 we're going to want the close button, so we're going to say button class of close, and we need to have a data dismiss attribute, which will be set to modal. Alright, and then inside here we'll just have a span, and we're going to put ampersand times semicolon, which will give us the little X icon. Okay, now under the header, which is right here, we're going to put the content. I'm sorry, the body. So we want a class of modal body. In here we're going to put our form to add a post. Get rid of the action. And let's see, we're going to have a form group. We're going to have a label. This is going to be for the title. Let's see, under the label we'll have an input. We'll give it a class of form control. And that should be good for the title. Let's copy the form group. And now we're going to do the category. So we'll change this to category. And then this is actually going to be a select list. So I'm going to change this input to a select with the class of form control. All right, and then inside the select, we're going to have a couple options. So we'll say option. Value doesn't really matter because this isn't going to be a working form. It's just the UI. But let's make this one web development. Then we'll do, let's say, tech gadgets. And this one will be business. And this one will be, let's say, health and wellness. All right, so those are our categories. Next, we're going to want a file upload field. So we'll say, like, if we wanted an image for our post. So let's go ahead and create another form group. And let's see, in here we're going to have a label for file. And in here we'll say image upload. And then under the label, let's put an input with the type of file. And we're going to give this a class. Since it's a file, we're going to say form control dash file. All right, and then I'm also going to put in a small tag with the class of form text, and also text dash muted, which will make it lighter. And we're just going to say max size 3 megabytes. All right, so that's our file field, and then we're going to have one more, which is going to be the body. So I'm actually going to copy the form group for the title, and we'll go ahead and post it right here. Change this to body. Change this to a text area. And save. Actually, we need one more. We need a button, which is going to go in the footer. So under this div right here, we're going to put a class of modal dash footer. And let's put a button. We'll give it a class of btn secondary. This one actually we're going to make the close button. So we need a data dismiss equals modal. And then I'll just copy that. And this one will be a submit, or we'll say save changes. And we'll change this to a primary. All right, and let's save it. Let's try it out. So I click Add Post, opens up a nice modal. We have the title, the categories, the file, and the body. Now I'm going to go the extra mile here, and I'm going to implement a WYSIWYG editor in the body. Usually if you have a blog, you want to be able to add like bold text and change the font size, add list bullets, things like that. And there's a really, really cool script that we can use called CK Editor. And we can just implement the CDN. We don't even have to download anything. So right here, and all we have to do is grab this link here, copy it, and we're going to put it down at the bottom right there. And then we're going to grab this script tag. And what we're doing here is we're saying ckeditor.replace editor1. So any text area that you want to add the editor to, you just need to add name equals editor1. So let's go ahead and do that right here. Name equals editor 1 and save. And now if we go back and add post, now we have a complete editor here, which is really nice. Alright, so now we're going to do the add category and add user. What I'm going to do is copy the post modal, just so we don't have to type all that over again. And we're going to just post it in here. And this is we're going to change this to category modal. Let's change the ID to add category modal. Change this to add category. And let's see, it's only going to have a title, so we'll leave the form group with title and get rid of all the other fields. Alright, another thing I want to do is change the colors. So BG primary I'm going to change to BG success, and then down in the buttons we're going to change the button to button success. And that's it. Let's save, add category, and there we go. So now we want the add user, so what I'll do is copy the category modal. Let's go ahead and paste it in, and we'll say user modal. Change the ID to add user modal. This will be add user. Let's change from BT success to BT warning. Same thing down here with the button. Now for the fields, we're going to have a couple fields. So this will be name, and then I'll copy the form group. So we'll have name, email, and then we'll have 2 passwords. So this one will be email. This will be password. And this will be confirm password. And save, add user, and there we go. Alright, so that's that. Now in the next video what we're going to do is we're going to move on to create the post table. We'll have like the first 5 posts or whatever featured on the dashboard. We're also going to have a section over here that shows us the number of posts, the number of categories, and the number of users. Alright, so we'll get into that next, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.